In this video, I'm going to show you how to get a really cool two-tone look on a piece of furniture with the nice wood grain drawers and painted case. Let's do this. A finish that is really popular today is the combo of the wood and paint finish, and it's one that I've loved for a long time. So on this dresser, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do gray all along the top and the outside of the dresser, and then these drawers will be stained, so we'll keep the wood grain showing. I have already sanded down all of the drawers except for one, because I did want to show you how I do that. So they're sanded down and just about ready to stain and seal them. And then the case of this dresser is one of the new General Finishes milk paint colors called Perfect Gray. So I cannot wait to get my fingers on this color. I haven't tried it yet, so we're going to do it here together on this dresser. But I think it's going to be the perfect medium gray that's going to offset the stain on these drawer fronts, and it's going to give this piece a whole new finish. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to take the drawers out and set them aside, and we're going to do some prep work on the case of this dresser just to scuff sand it a little bit and get it ready for paint. Okay, we got the dresser all prepped and cleaned, and now we are ready for paint. Again, this is General Finishes Perfect Gray milk paint. Ooh, and it is pretty. Give it a quick stir. That is a gorgeous color, and I think it will give us really nice coverage, even over this dark wood. I'm going to start on the top here and then work my way down. I'm using my favorite brush, the Purdy XL Cub, and this really helps reduce brush strokes and give a really nice smooth finish, even when painting by hand. And this color is gorgeous. It's a warmer gray than they've had before, but I like it. It's really going to go with just about anything and be the perfect neutral. When you've got a really long top like this, what I like to do is get it all covered, and then super lightly I'm going to come all the way across in one stroke on the dresser, just really lightly, just to smooth out any brush strokes and kind of cover the sections that we worked in, but I'm barely putting any pressure on my brush. So we're not really moving paint, we're just smoothing it out. There we go. All right, check for any drips along the top, and then I'm just gonna work my way down. Okay, to sand down these drawers to raw wood, I have my pad sander and it is hooked up to my shop vac. So that will really reduce the amount of dust going on in the shop. And then I'm just using 120 grit sandpaper, sand in the direction of the grain, and you will get down to raw wood pretty quickly here. So that's all that's happening here. And then once it's down to raw wood, just get as much stain off as you can. And then we'll just touch it up with some hand sanding as we go. A couple things I just want to point out. You can think about these things before you do this finish. So the drawer fronts do need to be real wood. I've seen dressers that look like this that actually have almost a plasticky type coating on top that make it look like wood, and you will know immediately if you just take some sandpaper by hand and kind of run it over one of the corners. You'll know immediately if there's real wood under there or not. So do be sure about that before you go through this whole plan. Something else to keep in mind, always move in the direction of the grain and get this off as much as you want. Now you will see here on this drawer, and the drawers in particular, it's really hard to kind of get it out of the little grooves. A couple things that you can do and think about. You can use a detail sander if you want to get in those places. You can do it by hand. You can also use some stripper, and you could do stripper on these drawers if you didn't want to sand them at all. I personally hate using stripper, so I avoid it at all costs. I think it's so messy, and I would rather sand something than sit and wait for the stripper to dry and do its work and scrape it off and all of that. So I'm choosing not to use any stripper on this. These, the kind of detail marks along the edges will be covered with the stain that we put on top of here. But if you were going with a lighter finish or keeping this really neutral, you might want to kind of work in those places. We also have, and I don't know if you can see really well, there's some, you can see the hardware. I think this dresser was sitting in the sunshine. That did not show before we started, but once the stain is off, we've got these hardware marks, and this is not the hardware that's coming back on here. So I am going to stain these a color just to kind of even out the finish and give us a nice contrast with the top of the dresser. So let's go ahead and get started on that. It's going to look amazing. All right, let's stain the top of these just to give them some color and cover up any imperfections that we have. I am using, once again, my very favorite stain combination, a mix of half and half of walnut and antique oak. And this is all in the General Finishes water-based wood stain. Just applying it with a rag, just to get it on and off really quickly. That looks fantastic. All right. The nice thing about water-based wood stain is that it dries really quickly. So I'm just gonna let this dry, I don't know, give it an hour or so, and then I'm gonna come back in with top coat. For this dresser in this style, I'm just going to use a flat top coat. So General Finishes High Performance in the flat finish. It'll give just a little bit of shine and protection to the drawers and be an offset to the paint. So I'm just gonna keep doing this on every one of those drawers and let them dry. one more time, take your brush very lightly across the entire top and just smooth out any brush strokes. Okay, this dresser is just about done. If you want to see more furniture makeovers, check out the playlist I've got for you here, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you will not miss a thing. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to see what you create.